Dodgers bolster roster with Michael Conforto and re-sign Blake Treinen. What's up, Dodgers Nation? We've got some hot updates today that could play a huge role in our journey toward another championship in 2025. Two familiar names are in the spotlight, a new addition to the outfield and a trusted bullpen anchor returning for more. But before we dive into the details, let me ask you, do you think these signings will take the team to the next level, or would you have preferred the front office to target other options? Drop your thoughts in the comments, share this video with fellow Dodgers fans, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss a single offseason update. Now, let's get to the big news. Michael Conforto joins the Dodgers. The Dodgers have agreed to a one-year, $17 million deal with outfielder Michael Conforto, according to sources close to the negotiations. At 32 years old, Conforto brings experience and power to the lineup. In 2024, he played for the Giants, posting 20 home runs, 66 RBIs, and a .237 batting average, proving he's still a solid offensive contributor. Conforto, a former All-Star, spent the majority of his career with the Mets before facing challenges, including a right shoulder surgery that sidelined him for the entire 2022 season. Now healthy and motivated, he's ready to shine on one of baseball's biggest stages, Dodger Stadium. Blake Treinen resigns for 2 more seasons. And that's not all. Blake Treinen, a key piece of the World Series winning bullpen, is back. The reliever signed a 2-year, $22 million contract, keeping him in Dodger blue through 2026. Treinen overcame a major shoulder and rotator cuff injury in 2023 and returned stronger than ever in 2024. Last season, Treinen delivered stellar numbers, 1.93 ERA in 50 games, striking out 56 batters in just 46 2/3 innings. He also shone in the postseason with a 2.19 ERA across 9 games, helping seal the Dodgers' championship run. What do these moves mean? Conforto adds versatility and offensive power to the outfield, while Treinen reinforces the bullpen with his reliability in high-pressure moments. But are these signings enough to keep the Dodgers on top, especially with other National League teams also making big moves? Now it's your turn, fans. Were these the right moves, or would you have gone after different players for the roster? Share your opinion in the comments, pass this video along to fellow fans, and subscribe to the channel to stay updated on every epic moment of this offseason. Let's go, Dodgers Nation, and gear up for another championship in 2025. Go Dodgers!
Juan Soto to the Mets. It's real. $765 million. Mark DeRosa, how do you...
It's amazing. We were all blown away by the Ohtani contract. And speaking of blown away, that's what Juan Soto has just done. Only a year later to that staggering number that Ohtani put up. You see that $765, $51 million a year with no deferrals. I mean, listen, we said going into this all along, we thought that Steve Cohen had a number that was going to be beyond anybody else, the owner of the New York Mets, and he proved that. I truly believe that he was not going to leave without getting Juan Soto, no matter where this went.
There are escalators that could get this over $800 million reportedly. Tom, how did we get here? What were all the factors that were in play to have this number get so dramatically higher than what we originally expected for Juan Soto?
Well, you have to start with his talent. This is a generational talent. The best pure hitter, I believe, in this generation right now in terms of just getting on base, working at bats, predictable player who's putting up numbers. Or that happened between the Yankees and the Mets. I know there were other teams involved. Dodgers, Blue Jays, Red Sox. This came down to Yankees and Mets like we have never seen before. Yankees and Mets bidding on a player who played in the 2024 season in New York with the Yankees. And guys, think about where the Mets were in May of 2024. 11 games under 500.
I want to get this in real quick. Mark Feinstein getting details on the Yankees' final offer. 16 years, $760 million. You see $47.5 million AAV. The Mets offer was $51 million AAV. The Red Sox, according to Chris Cotillo, bid for Soto was 15 years, $700 million. Come on, that's not getting it done. I'm kidding. I mean, that's unbelievable.
Well, you're right, though. I mean, these teams went beyond their normal comfort zone. But Steve Cohen was not going to lose this bidding. I think he proved that. And those teams have nothing to be ashamed about.
Oh, no.
They were just in it against the guy who's not going to lose. And I was about to say, Greg, you think about where the Mets were 11 games under. Jorge Lopez throws his glove in the stands. The Mets season is going down the drain early. They not only rescued the season, but they got into the postseason, made a nice run, and I think this made the Mets more attractive to Juan Soto, and it made it easier for Steve Cohen to start to consolidate this team with further investments.
26 years old, top of his game, only getting better. Anyone who watched on a nightly basis, watched him out of 600 some odd plate appearances, control 598 of them. Mind-blowing, and I agree with you. It's right man, right time, bidding for Scott Boras and Juan Soto not to entertain the fact of going back to him and seeing where it's at. Congratulations to Juan Soto. Congratulations to every big leaguer that's going to sign after him, because the price of poker just went up. Once a player, always a player. This is landscape changing for our entire sport. And man, hats off to Juan Soto. I'm buying a plane tonight.
I'm going to get a third island. Like he could dream and crazy
that's
dreams.
Where we're going.
If I'm a Met fan right now, this might be the greatest night ever. I know we won the World Series. I totally get that. But you were always the little brother in New York. I don't care what anyone says. It was the Yankees and then the Mets. This is such an emotional night for Met fans. I didn't grow up a Met fan. No, so many of them. They took Scottie Pippen away from Michael Jordan. He's our Michael Jordan now. I know you think you need him for Michael to win all these championships. We're taking him away. Well, we're going to pay him more than you pay Michael Jordan.
Well, that's
what we can do now.
Yeah, and listen, I'm old enough to remember when New York was a National League town with the Mets in the 80s. But so is Steve Cohen. He remembers those days, and he's trying to get the Mets back to that level. And I do think that they're very close to doing that. And it was easy to convince, I think, besides the money, to Juan Soto that this team is not done.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a really good team right now. They're not, by no means a finished product. There's going to be more investments, especially into the rotation for me. Now that you've got Juan Soto at this number, you've got to back it up.
And it's a historic night for Juan Soto, no question about it. But you see the Red Sox, the money's there. The Yankees, the money's there. Obviously, there was other teams, the Blue Jays, Dodgers, in the mix. What's the pivot now for those clubs?
Ooh. And when do you start the pivot? Immediately, right?
Immediately. We said this earlier. The Yankees had a plan B in place before this decision was made. Every team has to do their due diligence. I think they're going to move very quickly. There's no question. I think the market is really going to fly here in Dallas the next few days. But let's remember one thing. Juan Soto bet on himself several times. The Washington Nationals, if you want to go back a few years, put hundreds of $millions on the table. No thanks. He goes to San Diego. Then he goes to the Yankees. The Yankees wanted to extend him. No thanks. And look where he sits today. A guy who bet on himself in one of the best platform seasons you will ever see. You talk about a clutch player. That was a clutch year by a clutch player.
Man, if he hits like Aaron Judge in October, is he agreeing to a $765 million contract? As you see, he turned down 15 years, $440 million from the Nationals in 2022, and he was criticized for it. Criticized.
I think the biggest thing, and what Tom kind of keeps echoing, is the fact that we've seen I've talked to Hall of Fame players. I just think the thing that's interesting to me is the Mets are not a finished product.
No.
This is not like, oh, okay, we're winning the World Series, kind of stamp our ticket from the National League. The Mets are going to represent the National League in the World Series.
Are they even the third best team in the National League?
Will they win their division?
There's a long way to go here this winter. But I got to believe if I'm Juan Soto, I saw this bidding start to develop. And you had to think the New York Mets wanted Soto more than the Yankees.
Yeah.
And I'm saying that recognizing the Yankees got out of their comfort zone. But when a team you hadn't played for is putting more money on the table, and we saw those numbers on an AAV, actually not that close. There was separation between the Yankees and the Mets. It was not razor thin. If you're the player, I realize there's enough money on the table to be happy no matter what. But in terms of the Mets stepping up, and as you said, change the landscape of baseball, especially in New York, but even nationally now. The Mets are now the East Coast version of the Dodgers, which is what Steve Cohen wanted when he bought this team.
I just have to take a step back because as a former player, played a long time, played with some of the game's greats, I can't imagine what he's feeling right now. I can't even process the fact that he gets to sit back with his family tonight and I am worth $750 million.
Yeah.
Went to the Washington Nationals Academy as a 15, 16-year-old. Signs, comes over. I mean, just hats off to you. I mean, it's changed the game. Because Ohtani was an outlier. We had never seen anything like that. There was no one really like, I get it. There's a couple guys trying to pitch and hit. Not
Bonds.
Yeah.
Right? He's that special. What I think is painful for the New York Yankees, and I almost hate saying this, but I'm going to. I believe we will never see a hitter of that magnitude in front of Aaron Judge ever again. Aaron Judge just lost the greatest wingman of his career.
There's no question about that. Listen, I said earlier, Aaron Judge, as great as he was, saw more pitches in the strike zone this year than ever before in his career. Why? Because he had Juan Soto on base so often in front of him. The combination, the left-right, the working at bats, the lack of chase worked so well. That was a historic combination. I mean, we were looking up numbers that literally put them in the same class as Lou Gehrig and Babe Ruth on a one-year basis. Won't see that again. And you're right. You will not see another left-handed hitter in tandem with Aaron Judge like Juan Soto. That person does not exist right now.
I still think the New York Yankees can get back to a World Series in the American League without Juan Soto. I think they can pivot. There's guys out there. There's arms out there. There's bullpen pieces out there. They have plenty of holes to fill.
Padres got better without Juan Soto, didn't they? They won more games, didn't they?
They did.
It can be done.
$765.
Largest contract by total value. We've never seen anything like this. Soto, $765 million to the Mets.